You mentioned least favorite wrestlers. You mentioned hating the Four Horsemen and then loving them. Were there any other wrestlers like as a kid or growing up that you couldn't stand? I don't mean like people you had professional business dealings with that went bad, but
Right,
just
right,
as a
right, right,
fan.
right. And I think as that with that aspect, if I hated them, they were doing their job. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
So definitely like Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard. Um, let's see who else. Anybody that would join the Horsemen after being a good guy. Like, I was a Lex Luger fan until he joined the Horsemen. Barry Windham until he joined the Horsemen. And let me see who else.
Guessing like the Russians and stuff like that, probably.
Nikita Koloff. I don't know. It's weird. I kind of feared him.
You know,
You know what I mean? It's not like I hated him. Only time I really hated like if he cheated, using the chain or whatever like that. But he was one of those guys that when he came out, it was like he just had your attention. And now it's like I'm friends with him. And I'm like,
wild.
it's crazy. But yeah, Nikita Koloff. You might have to jog my memory on some of these things, man.
Well, I was
But
thinking like
yeah,
the Harley Race and those people
mm,
like
no, not too. I wasn't too. Harley Race didn't have too much of an effect on me. Um,
I know Vader
I
came
was
later.
Vader was actually cool to me. He was kind of scary, but it wasn't really like anybody that I hated. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I made uh unless they made you and they were just doing their job or whatever. So I really have to be reminded of a name. And like if I had a name, I could think, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Oh no. But there's nobody that comes to mind. And maybe it's because of the years that I have in and like understanding what's happening.
Growing
Everybody's kind of
appreciation.
like yeah, it's kind of appreciation, shade of gray type thing now. And so I apologize for that.
No, it's no problem. I'll throw out one more name because I feel like he may have done it. Jim Cornette in the Midnight Express.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, you know what? Um, Yeah, Jim Cornette was one that when you saw him, you wanted him to get hit. You wanted
Yep.
something to happen to him. You see him with that tennis racket, and I was like, man, how is he even allowed to carry this thing out? He's gonna use it as a weapon. And yeah, he was a huge heel. And that's what made the money, man. It wasn't the wrestlers, it was the managers that were the heels that made you like hate them. You know what I mean?
Do you
And
feel like that's a
it
lost
could
art these days?
it absolutely. Because I liked the Midnight Express. I thought beautiful Bobby Eaton was probably the greatest innovator for his time, definitely ahead
Amazing
of his time.
wrestlers.
Yeah, Sweet Stan Lane, he was like cool and had the body and all that. I just hated Jim Cornette. I think probably the greatest manager now would definitely be Paul E.
Yeah.
Just because he's kind of a morph of Jim Cornette. He knows who he is and he has that mouth, and it's like you just want him to get hit, but then like what he's saying, he's never really lying. He's telling the truth. You just don't want to accept it. You know what I mean?
It's almost more
Uh,
annoying that he's being honest.
yeah, yeah. He's got an art in his own self, man, and he's just a wise guy for the business in itself, and so he's a great manager. Believe it or not, I'm a huge fan of Prince Nana too.
Yeah.
Working with him in Ring of Honor, uh, when any role that I had in Ring of Honor, I was the talker, like in the group. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so I remember a match that I had when I was tagging with Cedric, and Cedric was in the ring, and I think he was going against Tommaso Ciampa. And so I'm supporting, Cedric on the outside of the ring, and Nana at that time had Ciampa in the embassy. And so I'm just, supporting stuff on the outside and saying stuff back and forth. And man, he just destroyed me to the point to where I couldn't like I got out of character because I'm laughing at the stuff he's saying to me. Like he's just killing me. I'm like, this dude is phenomenal. So I'm like, I'm trying to save face and trying to, say stuff back or whatever. But then I just found myself like trying to get as far away from him as possible
That's
because
amazing.
he had my number, man. And I'm a very witty person, but like he just knows his character, and like he's so much of his character that when you hear him say stuff, I'm like, bro, you meant that, didn't you? Like, he's awesome. He's awesome.